So friends, today's topic is watt-hour structure induction relay. This is also known as two-winding electromagnetic induction relay. And first of all, we'll learn about the construction part. In this we have two magnets. One is known as upper magnet, other one is lower magnet. On the upper magnet we have two windings. One is known as primary and other is known as secondary. We connect input from the potential transformer or a current transformer to the primary winding, and let us say that current which flows through the primary winding as input is I1, and we have a lower magnet also which is connected to the secondary winding which is also wound on the upper magnet. Inside we have a aluminum disc which is pivoted on a spindle and it is free to rotate. So this is the construction part. We have two magnets and on the upper magnet we have two windings. So let us go to the working part. So when we get input from the CT or PT, what will happen? A current I1 will flow in primary winding, and this current I1 will set a flux in the upper magnet. I1 will cause flux in primary winding, and this flux will interact with secondary. So phi, let us say this is phi1. Phi1 will interact with the secondary and cause EMF in secondary winding, and due to this EMF there will be a current that let us say is I2. So I2 will flow in secondary winding of upper magnet. This secondary is connected with the winding of lower magnet, so I2 will flow through the lower magnet also, and that will set a flux which will be I2 will cause flux phi2 in lower magnet. One thing I will tell you that generally number of turns on the secondary correction on the lower magnet are more than the number of turns on the upper magnet. So as we know that MMF is directly proportional to number of turns, so what will happen is phi2 will be more than phi1. So we have two fluxes, phi1 in the upper magnet and phi2 in the lower magnet, and these two fluxes will produce a force which will act on this aluminum disc, and that force will be directly proportional to the angle of phase difference between the two fluxes. Let us say that angle is say alpha, directly proportional to alpha. So this angle will depend upon the inductance of the coils. So this force is directly proportional to phi1 phi2 into sine of alpha. For the force to be maximum, we have to have this value to be maximum, sine alpha to be maximum, and this can be 1. So that can be adjusted by adjusting the reactance of the coils. So as we know that flux is directly proportional to current also, so we can say that force is directly proportional to, and this flux are both caused due to the current I1. So this is directly proportional to I1 square sine alpha. and we can have alpha as maximum as possible. We can have alpha nearly equal to 90 degree also by adjusting the reactance of the coils. So when we get this I1 sufficient enough, again because there is a restraining torque also, which is generally provided by a helical spring or a counterweight. Helical spring gives the restraining torque. So when this I1 is sufficient enough to move the disc, and this disc is having a spindle, and on the spindle we have this is moving contact, and this is fixed contacts, moving contacts and fixed contacts. So as the disc rotates, the moving contacts will short the fixed contacts, and the circuit for the trip mechanism will be made, it will close, and we can finally have the circuit breaker operating. So this is how the watt-hour meter induction relay works. Another feature which we have in this relay is that if we open up this secondary, we put a switch anywhere in between, we can have 0 I2, and in case we have 0 I2, we will have 0 flux, so we can stop this from moving. So in case we don't want the relay to operate, we can simply control it by a switch. This is a added feature which is available in this kind of relay. So this was the construction and working of the watt-hour meter structure induction relay. Thank you very much. Keep learning and keep growing.